There's a stage almost every rider goes through. Not when they first start riding. That part is usually pretty safe because new riders are nervous. They know they're inexperienced. They respect the bike. They respect the road. The dangerous stage comes later, usually a few months in. Right around the moment riding starts feeling comfortable. You stop thinking about shifting. Corners start feeling smoother. You ride with faster friends and realize you can keep up. Maybe you hit your first canyon road. Maybe you finally get the bike leaned over properly. Maybe you save a bad situation with a quick brake grab and think, damn, maybe I'm actually good at this. And honestly, that's usually when the trouble starts. Because motorcycles do something very strange to people. They give you confidence long before they give you wisdom. And I think a lot of riders confuse those two things. The scary part is that early improvement comes fast. Learning how to move a motorcycle around really isn't that hard. Most people can learn to ride quicker than they expect. But understanding risk, understanding traffic, understanding how little control you actually have over the world around you, that takes years. Randomness plays a much bigger role than most riders want to admit. Just because you took that corner too fast yesterday and survived doesn't mean it was safe. It just means nothing happened that's different. A lot of riders mistake survival for skill. I did too. I remember that phase very clear. Riding faster and faster, feeling smoother every week, thinking speed meant progress. And once you start believing that, it's very easy to feel like you have figured it riding out. But the longer I ride, the more I realize how dangerous that mindset actually is. Because motorcycles are full of things you cannot control. Gravel in a corner, a distracted driver, oil on the road. Someone open a car door, a car changing lanes without looking. The road does not care how confident you feel that day. And honestly, this idea isn't even just about motorcycles. People do this with everything. The guy who just got into photography suddenly becomes obsessed with camera specs. Someone who's been going to the gym for 6 months starts acting like a fitness coach. A new rider suddenly starts judging everyone else's technique. Because when people first learn a little, they often feel like they finally understand everything. But truly difficult things don't work like that. Usually, the deeper you go, the more you realize how much you still don't know. And maybe that's why some of the best riders I've met over the years never really tried that hard to impress people. They were usually calmer, smoother, less emotional. Not because they're slow, but because they understand what can happen. I think that's something a lot of new riders misunderstand. The biggest danger usually isn't the rider who's scared. It's the rider who stopped being scared. Because that's often the moment people begin overestimating themselves. And look back now, I honestly think I survived a lot of my younger riding years. Not because I was as skilled as I thought I was, but because I was lucky. Lucky there weren't as many distracted drivers back then. Lucky traffic wasn't as chaotic. Lucky some of my bad decisions didn't cost me more than they did. So these days, I don't really see riding fast as proof of anything anymore. If anything, the riders I respect most now are usually the ones who still ride with a little humility. Because after enough years on motorcycles, you eventually realize something uncomfortable. A little knowledge can be a very dangerous thing, especially when you think it's already enough.